YouTube Kids is a dangerous place. If you don't have a child and you've never created a brand new page for YouTube Kids, you won't even know what I'm talking about. Don't ask me why, but I started a brand new page where the algorithm doesn't know exactly what I want as an infant child on YouTube Kids. You would think that you're subscribing to a version of the YouTube platform that is meant to protect children, okay? But for some reason, we have Sam Altman and the rest of the Silicon Valley assholes telling us that they're about to change our world with AI, yet for some reason, YouTube cannot filter content that is degrading the brains and souls of our young children, okay? It is terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying to see what is allowed on YouTube Kids. And now get this, when you post videos on YouTube for YouTube Kids or for kids, you actually have to say that it's for kids. And so the content that is on YouTube Kids is content that has theoretically and technically been censored. So all the content that is on YouTube Kids is on there because when the creator has posted the video, they've ticked the little box that says this content is made for kids. So you would assume that all the videos that have that checked, right, that have that option optimized, when people are saying, yes, this video is made for children, that YouTube would do a better job of censoring the shit that is out there, especially with the birth of AI. Guys, listen, people. If you have a child and you give them YouTube Kids and you think you can just let them sit and be free, think again. Because the AI slop that is on there, I am talking weird AI kittens that are pregnant and being provocative. And if they're not being provocative, they're just being gross, because for some reason kids absolutely love vomit and skating on things. Like it's a weird psychological thing that young toddlers enjoy seeing that kind of thing, but they do. And so these AI content farms are creating this AI slop for children, ticking, yes, this content is made for kids. And YouTube is not censoring it out. YouTube is not making sure that the quality on YouTube Kids is of quality, okay? You might ask me, how do I know all this stuff? Okay, I used to be a school teacher. I was making low stimulation educational content for kids, and so I was posting it online on YouTube Kids, doing the due diligence, ticking, making sure that it's made for kids, trying to give parents the option of having low stimulation content for their kids to watch, as opposed to the ludicrous, super bright, super overstimulating. I mean, it sends my nervous system out of whack. Let me just tell you, as an adult, could you only imagine what you're doing to your child when they're listening to the sounds and the pacing and the color and it's a lot, okay? It's overstimulating. It gets my nervous system all out of whack. And I was trying to create content for mamas that want the option of a low stimulation video for their kids. And in all honesty, I won't lie, I'll be honest, I'll admit it, I gave up. Why did I give up? Because kids just don't want to watch that, okay? I was making sure that my content was made for kids. If you don't know what that means, if you label your video made for kids, one, YouTube is supposed to censor that it is appropriate. It's any content that has kids in it or is aimed at a child audience. Get that? Just keep that in mind. The other impact of ticking that it's made for kids is that it disables comments. You cannot comment on the videos anymore, which rightfully so. You don't want a bunch of little kids engaging on some sort of Discord in the comment section on videos, and you also don't want predators able to talk to children through the comment section of videos on YouTube. So they've essentially removed any ability for kids to communicate to other people online through the comment section if you've enabled made for kids. The other thing that affects content that's made for kids is obviously sponsors and advertisements. It's limited. No advertiser is going to advertise on these kids' channels unless it's very specifically a child's toy or a child brand. Unless you've blown up and you've been bought by like an external production company like Miss Rachel had. Creating on YouTube Kids for kids is not necessarily lucrative. Rightfully so. I have spoken enough about how icky it is to be earning money through your children. Why are parents doing that? But they are, so I understand why it is a good thing to limit ad revenue, whatever. The kind of content that I was making online, I realized very quickly that it wasn't even being enjoyed by kids. It really wasn't. I mean, don't get me wrong, maybe the content that I was making was really bad, but what I kind of realized is the reason my content wasn't doing well was because it was low stimulation. There was barely any music, and if there was music, it was very slow. I was narrating the story, so it wasn't AI, it wasn't these like loud, squeaky, oh my god, character voices. Ghosts! Witches! Monsters! It was just me speaking in a normal, slow tone about real things, and I would show real images and real videos of the animals I was speaking about. I did a video on nocturnal animals and what these animals look like when they're out at night. When a video doesn't have super bright, crazy colors and isn't moving at like freaking 3,000 kilometers per hour, then kids don't want to watch it, and they just didn't, and they weren't. No one was watching it. And I had a few like really wonderful mamas subscribe, and they still to this day watch the videos that I put out, which is really sweet. But the truth is, when you're competing with kids, my content is not where they want it to be at, okay? They don't want to choose that because their dopamine levels and the chemistry that's going on in their brain when they're watching this super high stimulating content, low stimulation content is just not for them anymore, even when they're 3 years old. 3 to 4 years old, it's already too late. Like, they're goners. They're goners when they're watching this kind of content. And this kind of content is allowed on YouTube Kids. There's scary, haunting content, inappropriate content, loud, non-educational, super degrading content is what is on YouTube Kids. And honestly, don't even get me started on the fact that a lot of family channels and channels that have children in them. Now remember, when you post a video and you say that this is for kids, the reason it's for kids is, one, if there's children in the content, and two, if the audience you intend for your video is children, then you have to tick this video is made for kids, right? Most of these family vlogging channels, which is something you know by now if you've watched one or two of my videos, you would know now that I absolutely cannot stand by the fact that there is no regulation against these people, but none of them pick that this content is made for kids. The content that they're putting out, this is what they're saying, right? Checkbox, right? Is this made for kids? And they're saying, no, it's made for adults. My child is made for adults to consume. And that is just so freaking strange. Okay, it's so strange. And even when you have little girls or little boys watching the video, when your demographics on YouTube, because let me just tell you, as a YouTube creator who knows the back end and the analytics of YouTube, the age range of who's watching our videos starts at 13. Okay, 13. Which means when you have these family vloggers, you have a 13-year-old that could potentially be commenting and engaging in conversation in your videos with the other demographic of who's watching your videos, which I understand a lot of people who watch family vloggers are like normal women, you know, who want to watch the cute day in my life with their favorite influencer, and they want to get tips and tricks and all the cute things. I personally don't watch family vlogging. I don't really understand the hype, but you know, I get that not everyone who watches it as an adult is a pedophile, but it is just common knowledge. It has been proven now, okay, that a lot of people who watch this content have nefarious intentions. And now you think the reason why YouTube put this policy in, they say this content is made for kids, a big reason is it disables comments. It disables the ability for young children to engage in conversation. Now, when these parents are actively choosing not to tick that, right? They're choosing actively to allow comments. Why? Because comments drive engagement. Engagement drives the algorithm to push your content out more. More views means more money. More views means more sponsorships, more subscribers, more money, right? So they allow for the conversations to be having in the comment section. But now, these family vloggers are taking no, it's not made for kids, and allowing 13-year-olds to engage in comments and conversations with the other portion of the audience. Just think about that for a minute. Let that sink in. And this is where like I have a problem with YouTube. Okay, this is the problem on YouTube at the moment. This responsibility lies on YouTube. YouTube is failing at this regulatory process. It really is. If YouTube doesn't crack down on this at some point in the future, you know, maybe what it's going to take is for these kids to grow up, which they are already, but in all honesty, they've grown up to be teenagers. Maybe when they're 25, 30 years old, maybe then YouTube is going to become a little bit more strict on their policies, or maybe they can implement this life-changing AI that these Silicon Valley
assholes
are trying to shove down our throats, these AI bros that think that it's going to change our life. Well, then why is it not why is AI coming into YouTube creating disgusting slop for children instead of coming onto YouTube and enforcing the regulations that are supposed to be there to protect children? That is how AI is supposed to change our lives, not through creating AI slop. Can you answer that, Sam Altman? Could you maybe like create something that protects children on YouTube instead of creating content farms that just push out content constantly that is disgusting and degrading and honestly rotting the minds of our children? It's just, personally, it's my little rant on landscape of what YouTube kids look like, and it's almost a warning. It's a warning. Like, if you don't know the side of YouTube kids, if you're a new mama or you're a new papa and you think that you can hand your kid YouTube kids and you think that it's safe, please just spend a little time on that side of the platform yourself and just be careful, because yowza, it's some of the stuff I've seen honestly scared me and I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe that this was allowed on the platform for children, especially in a space that's promoted as a way to make parents feel like their children are safe in that space online. Anyways, that was my little rant about YouTube kids, because I had an experience with it from the perspective of a creator. Okay, and from the perspective of a woman, and that somebody, I used to be a preschool teacher, so I've spent a lot of time with children, and I have a deep desire to protect children from the nasties that's out there in the world. That was my perspective. But if you feel like it, please do subscribe to this channel, otherwise the YouTube algorithm may never bestow me and my strange research on you again. And if you don't, well, I hope you enjoyed and have a fabulous rest of your day without AI slop.